Hi, welcome to the new episode of Sportsy. Sports is the greatest teacher, and the sports field is the greatest classroom. Sports makes us aspire, inspire, and motivate in our journey. And hence, let's aim sport. Today, we have with us former India badminton player who was India's national champion for record equaling 9 times when she won all the senior national championship between 1997 to 2006. Today, we have with us India International silver medalist at the World Junior in 96, Asian athlete, two-time Olympian, four-time podium finisher at across three different Commonwealth, Arjuna Awardee, Aparna Popat. Thank you for liking, thank you for watching, and thank you for sharing. But please do subscribe on our channel SportsySays and help us spread the word. We go with the same handle SportsySays across all the social media platforms. Do subscribe on SportsySays. Hi Aparna, great to have you on Sportsy, where we just talk about sports and we love to talk about multiple stories behind the amazing athletes like you, who has a lot to share with so many people who are aspiring about sports. Get inspired by people like you, and something like that keeps them motivated. And for that, really thank you for your time to be with us on this platform.
My pleasure. I'm really happy to be here.
We have Aparna Popat, we have Arjuna Awardee, 9 times national champion, four different medals across three different Commonwealth, two-time Olympian, and yeah, the list goes on. It's so great to have you here, Aparna. And just shooting my first question to you is, as Aparna was growing up, what you aspired to become, and who was your inspiration, and what motivated you to be a better version of yourself every day? So just want to have the story of Aparna in growing up days.
I think what motivated me to be a better version was really, I think, from as long as I can remember, I always liked to do things properly. And I liked it when things were done in a nice manner and they looked good and they were perfect, and I sort of carried that into whatever I did. So whether it was doing project work at school, or whether it was learning a headstand, or trying to make a picture somewhere, or in anything that I did basically. And I think that sort of continued, because even when there was the slightest problem, like I'd smudge something somewhere, it would trouble me. It would actually bother me.
Oh,
And that's where I just wanted to make it better, and I said, okay. And I was never very hard on myself, so it's never that I was blaming myself, but at the same
mhm.
time, from the bottom of my heart, I wanted to be better for
And you are
everything.
not,
So I said, if the
but
smudge happened
you are
today,
not easy on
I
yourself
won't
as
let it
well.
happen. I was strict with myself, but I was not cruel to myself, and I wasn't unrealistic and said, mistakes can never happen, and we get depressed or get angry, or nothing of the sort. It was just a very quick learning, and
Mhm.
said, okay, if I made a mistake now, be mindful not to do it again. And just this very small thing I sort of carried on, when I started playing badminton as well, to say that if I hit 10 shots in the court today and I made 5 mistakes, next will be 12 shots in and then 3 mistakes, and let's get better, one shot by shot. And that's how I really looked at it. And I think, as far as an inspiration is concerned, I remember watching the Asian Games on television when
Mhm.
I must have been like 4 years old then,
Oh wow.
and seeing top class athletes perform, I think, is like perfection for me, or at least at that point it was just beauty. It was just beautiful to my eyes,
Yeah,
and
it's
I said, okay, I want to
just
be like that. I want to play like that, and I want to look like that. And slowly, that's how sports started for me. So if I was running a race, I would go at the start block and I would imitate them. And if it was gymnastics, then I would see how they're cartwheeling and pointing their toes, and those things that you sort of notice. If it was table tennis, how they're holding the racket and spinning the ball. Again, as you would have realized, I didn't speak about badminton at all because it was
yes,
not on my radar.
yes.
I played all other sports except badminton, cricket predominantly, in
Hmm.
my building compound, where I was the only girl on an all boys team. So that's how it really started, just bit by bit. But it was the attitude, I think. It was the attitude.
Yeah, and I've personally seen that attitude on the court. Like people have seen it on the television and everything. I've seen it on the court. Even you were what? You were 13, 14 years old. Uh, you're. It was the perfection. I think you spoke about it. The motivation was being perfect about what you want to do, and that's the whole journey and inspiration. But did you aspire to be a badminton player ever, or it was just you were just enjoying the sports as a journey?
So, it actually started by me being a pest in the house when my mom said, get out of the house because now you're troubling everyone in the family. So she took me to the club and she said, what do you want to do? So I said it was summertime when summer
Yeah,
camps are on in clubs. And
yeah,
we went to the tennis court, and the tennis coach said, well, we don't have any news of the camp yet. So I was really disappointed because Steffi Graf was somebody who I love to watch and, emulate, and Wimbledon and, all that.
yeah.
So I was really disappointed. I said, I wish I could have played tennis. And while on our way out, and my mom said, let's just go to the badminton court. So I walked in and I said, coaching. So they said, yeah, we have a coaching going on. So I said, fantastic. And my mom ran into a friend of hers and who said, coaching goes on here, but there's this coach who's playing on the last court. His name is Anil Pradhan.
Pradhan sir,
He
yeah.
doesn't coach too many people, but try your luck. I mean, if he coaches your daughter, nothing like it. So my mom, and we were not from a sporting family at all, okay? So my mom had no clue, who is who, nothing. So, Anil Uncle, I called him Anil Uncle fondly because, later. So he came off the court and my mom spoke to him and he said, okay, bring your daughter to Sachivala Gymkhana tomorrow. And if she's good, I'll coach her. If she's not good, we have a camp running, she can join the camp. So my mom said, very good. Next morning we go, and he makes me do some basic exercises, jumping jacks, this, that, and the
Yeah.
other, run front, run back, all that. And he told my mom that, she's very good. Uh, get her a basic pair of shoes, a basic racket. You don't want
Hmm.
to pay me, don't pay me, I don't care. But from tomorrow, send your daughter for badminton every day, and I personally will coach her. Nobody else will coach her. And my mom was like, wow, this is like amazing, because first the daughter's out of my hair, secondly, this coach is willing to take all responsibility of this child, and
Yeah.
that too free. So it was, worked really well, because I mean, we came from a middle class family, so it wasn't that, not that we knew how much badminton costed, because
Yeah.
I mean, with the shuttle it's an expensive sport, but it was fun. So I started going, and then I trained with Anil Uncle for 8 years, and
Yeah.
we used to play 365 days a year. And not a single day have I got bored. So I think that's how it really began, by accident. Yeah, there were no plans, yeah, to go anywhere. It was just to play. So
Excellent. And I had privilege to meet him once, long back again. But yeah, and whenever that this topic comes up, I read online that he said, "Send me your daughter, and I'll put her into the India's map, a badminton
yeah,
map."
it's true. It's in. I'm telling you, in that one meeting of that running forward, backward, and jumping jacks, he actually. I mean, it's odd because I have to speak about myself, but it's awkward. But
You have
he
earned it,
actually
Aparna. You have
he
earned it.
actually told my mom. He said I will make her like the PT Usha in badminton, and she will represent India. He's saying, and I will settle for nothing less. And I mean, today when I think back, I mean, you don't have the guts to make a claim like that on day
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
So it was quite spectacular, and I just feel blessed. I was at the right place at the right time with the right
Ex-
person, and
exactly.
I think that's
And
just,
rest is the history, as they say.
yeah, it was just my good fortune. That's it.
Yeah. Excellent. You're talking about badminton in late 80s, early 90s, and those time again it was not a known sport except Prakash Padukone getting having all the accolades that India ever got. Uh, so was it when you picked up badminton and you said, okay, I want to make it into a career? What was the reaction from the family, and because you, as you said, you couldn't come from the sporting background, but so what was their reaction when they said, no, I want to make badminton as my career?
Uh, Honestly, I don't think we ever thought of making badminton my career. It just happened. So everything has just been so smooth, right? One thing's moved to another. I started playing under Anil Uncle. The meeting that mentioned about happened
Yeah.
in '86. I didn't play any tournaments till '89. '89 was my first year on the circuit, which was under 12. And the first tournament I played, I won, in Mumbai. And then the first district I played, I won. State championship, I won. And the first nationals I played, I won in '89. So it, so I won the first nationals. And when we went for the nationals, we didn't even know what the nationals were. It was a
Yeah.
big party for me. And Anil Uncle would tell me that, hit a good toss to the back. And if the opponent's at the back, hit a good drop at the net. And that's the kind of strategy I went with.
Yeah.
And I managed to win. And then the next year, he set another goal, and he said, within these are the players you needed to beat. He would never say this is the tournament you needed to win, but these are the players you needed to beat, so that I know that I'm getting better. He would just
Yeah.
always set a goal about beating better players, not really about the results per se of the tournament in terms of the rounds that you sort of win. And it was just that. So went on, and then the nationals sort of just flowed. And before I knew
Yeah.
it, I was 16 years old. I'd won, all the nationals up till then. And then it was time for me to move on. And then I left Bombay and shifted to Bangalore.
Bangalore. Yeah.
So, and I guess there was never talk in the house about making it a career. It was just that my mom, I think, and any parent, right? If they see your child being happy
Yeah.
somewhere, then they just encourage you and push you to do that. And
Yeah. Correct. And we get to see that nowadays a lot, but I'm sure that still in those days it's like, okay, making talking about it and playing it, like it was a different thing. Still.
yeah, I mean, when you're winning, no, then there's less thinking to do
Yeah. Correct.
in that sense, very honestly. But I was also very good at my studies.
Hmm.
So I wanted to be an architect. I always
Oh,
wanted to be an architect. So I thought that that's where I would go to. But then badminton happened, and then one thing led to another. And when I was in the ninth standard, actually, I represented India at the World Junior Championships,
correct.
at the age of 14. So by then it was pretty, straightforward to say that I would be looking at international badminton, in that sense.
Yeah.
And then, badminton was introduced in the Olympics
Right.
in '92. So you knew then it had become an Olympic sport by then. So there was always something more to,
To look
go
forward to. Yeah.
towards. Yeah, and aim towards. So that's just how it happened. Yeah, no career. It
Yeah.
just
And
happened.
and when you say okay, 92, just badminton was introduced, and then after that you went on to play two Olympics. So that
So
is you made it sound so simple, but yeah, it is what it is.
no, because I don't think, honestly, I don't think I've trained a day in my life to say that I want to be an Olympian. Or, it was never, it probably subconsciously, yes,
Yeah,
but
correct.
it was never so obvious to say that that is my aim. Like if somebody came and asked me what's your aim, I would always say I want to be better. It was
Uh-huh.
never that I want to be an Olympian.
Oh, nice.
So
Nice.
at that time also, being at the Olympics was a very different story. We didn't know how world rankings really in effect
Correct.
worked, and it was a very different time. I
Yeah,
mean, not to say that, we were naive in a lot of ways,
correct.
because
Yeah.
there was not that
There
much
was no
exposure.
exposure. Yeah, exposure was the biggest thing than
Yeah.
anything else, I think. Yeah. But
Yeah. So
as you said, you made it sound so simple that everything just happened and you're the chosen one. But yeah, there were still a lot of things that you have to go through, as the sacrifices that you go through or the families go through. There's the compromises you make, and a better athlete, always we talk about it, right? In today's world as well, right? You have a lot of exposure, you have a lot of availability of a lot of infrastructure and tournaments and everything. But probably somewhere we see people are not crossing that line about giving extra from your side and the sacrifice that you have to make. You want to do everything at the comfort of your own house. So what were those days which actually, I know times have changed and you can't relate those things to the current days, but still the sacrifices that as a kid, as a 13, 14-year-old, 15-year-old kid, sacrifice is still the same. So what were those?
yeah. So Okay, so it takes a huge support system to raise a
Yeah.
champion. And it takes a very strong family background to raise a sporting child. Let alone, I'm not even talking about a champion, I'm just saying a sporting child. It's a very different lifestyle that you lead. And I think in my case, when I look at it, I think my father, of course, had to work extra hard. As I said, finances weren't free flowing for us ever, but he made us feel that all was okay and we were
Hmm.
comfortable. My mother was working, but she quit her job because she had to travel with me for tournaments. My sister obviously stayed alone most of the time because my mom was traveling with me, so she and dad would be on their own, and so everybody sacrificed.
Hmm.
So one point being, it's not only my sacrifice, but I think as a child, I've always had this sense at the back of my mind that people are doing things for me,
Hmm.
and if people believe in me, then I need to reciprocate. And
Right.
the only way I can reciprocate is by effort, because I can't guarantee results, but I can guarantee effort. So that is somewhere where I feel I never lacked. The effort from my side was 100%. And when you speak of sacrifices, I think I just see it a little differently. It's not a sacrifice, it's a choice.
Yeah,
And
it's
the
a
day
choice.
you
Right.
feel it's a sacrifice, then you're not totally into what you're doing.
Very well said.
Because if you choose to go for practice as opposed to go to a movie, then it's a choice and you don't regret it. If you choose not to eat desserts after every meal, it's okay, it's a choice. Sorry boss, you're not sacrificing that dessert, so don't
Yes.
don't tell me that you are. And if you're
Yes.
pitying yourself,
Hmm.
then you're never going to get anywhere. Oh poor
Exactly.
me, so that's never going to get you anywhere. And if you're in pain, so be it. That's
Yeah.
what you've chosen. Learn to enjoy it and get
Yes.
on with it. So yeah, so no sacrifices, yeah, nothing.
Excellent. And again, that's what exactly what I think. And whenever I talk to my kids and who are also into sports, we talk about exactly the same thing. But coming from you, it makes an impact. It's not a sacrifice, a choice that you make and live with it. Try to enjoy every moment that you have and be better version with the process. I think enjoy the
Yeah.
process than the thinking about what you have missed out and what you have not missed out. Like it's
No,
just
it's look, certain times, as I said, right, you can't really be strict with yourself and say be happy all the time. With what, there
correct.
are certain days you'll feel like, oh, why didn't I, could
Yeah,
have.
exactly. It's
It's okay, that's fine, just go through it you
yeah.
know so just live through those days, but majority of the days you better do what you've chosen to do and what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. And I think, yes, I think, Aparna, with that, I just want to, since you said there are no sacrifices, it was choices, and the choices that you made led to a wonderful phase in your life from 96 to 2006. As an outsider, it looked very attractive. And yes, being a badminton player myself, it's like, oh wow, this is what they're achieving, and this is winning 9 national titles, 2 Olympic participation, the Asian game, winning three Commonwealth game, like across 3 Commonwealth, winning, being on the podium 4 times. There were ups and downs for the sure, but you had amazing graph in those 10 years. But what happens during that phase as an athlete? I think if you can share that, how do you handle the highs? At the same time, how do you cope up with the lows? And how important is mental conditioning or mental toughness in the whole series as an athlete?
um See, I think 10 years is a long time, and
Correct.
when you're in it, you don't realize it. But now, when I think back, and I say to win 9 national championships in a row,
Yeah.
and which was equaling, Prakash Padukone's national record. Like, he was my
Correct.
coach, and
Yeah.
he's my mentor and idol. So to get to that is huge, and not from the point of view of how good you're playing, but even from a very simple thing to say that every time you go into a nationals, like for 9 years, you've been in your best form, or
Correct.
you've possibly tried to be, and you've been fit, and you've been there,
Yeah.
when it counts, you've performed at your best.
Correct.
So just from that point of view, there were many different situations. Let me put it that way. Like,
Hmm.
each nationals has been special and different. And at each nationals, you've got to do different things, and
Correct.
you've got to expect different things from yourself, and rather command different things of yourself. And that's where mental strength comes in. One is pre the tournament, because you've got to be aware to anticipate, what kind of practice you have to do, or how you want to, prepare. And I'm a big fan of preparation. Like, I believe in preparation. I think that solves majority of your problems.
Correct.
So if you can get that right, then there's a large chance that you will achieve success. So the mental strength required to prepare is very important.
Mhm.
People just think mental strength is required when you're actually playing the tournament, but a lot of it comes before.
Yeah.
And then when you're playing the tournament, it's all about actually having the strength to, as I said, the commands that you give yourself. You have to do this now, or switch now, or change strategy now, or ignore the pain now, things like that. Or think quick.
Yeah.
You're down love 9 in 11 points match. Think quick.
Yeah.
What you're going to do, and finding that zone, or whatever it is. And that's when mental strength really matters. um, if you can, and it doesn't come in a tournament, it comes from practice. If you practice it, it'll come in a match. If you don't practice it, it won't come. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, mental strength extremely important. Highs harder to handle than lows. They
Oh,
sort of make
okay.
you feel you're invincible at certain times. And I remember when I came back from the World Junior Championships after winning a silver.
Yeah.
That was India's first medal at the World Juniors. And there was this huge, I was at the Prakash Padukone Academy at that point in time. So their bus had come to the airport to receive, me. And
Yeah.
it was a big thing. At that point, like, I never thought it was so big till I came back to India. And interviews and anyway, so there were senior ranking tournaments to follow, in the next couple of weeks or 3 weeks. And I had to get back to practice very soon.
Mhm.
The first day, my first session on court, I was playing doubles and I was trying trick shots and I was fooling around. And I got called off court literally and said that you're not serious. You don't want to play. Stop, messing around. If this is how you want to play, then sit out.
Oh,
And
wow. Eh,
first session, can you imagine when your press is waiting outside to interview you, and inside this is, the. But and that happened
Glad that
because
happened. Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, that's something I hold very close to my heart. And I say, when it's enjoy it, enjoy the success. I won't say again, be very serious and forget about it. No, you've earned it, enjoy it,
Yeah.
but not on the badminton court. When you're
Yeah.
playing, just play. When you're practicing, practice. And then when you come out, you can, sort of.
Yeah.
But yeah, so success that way. Failures, again, very important that you have people around you that can help you,
Mhm.
because it's not always easy to handle it on your own.
Correct.
But people you trust, people who can give you the right advice, the right mentors, and positive people. And I keep coming to this point, but accept that you can fail, and you will
Yeah.
fail at,
Yes.
at certain times. Even though I've won 9 national titles in a row, and I've done all that, with, and I have failed many times.
Yeah.
And that's fine. And that's fine. As long as you learn and move on, that's okay.
Wow. I think it's such a subtle but good message that I'm sure the generation needs to remember. Like when I say every athlete who is making a career or wants to make a career, it's so important that they have to accept that okay, it's okay to fail, but learn from it and move on.
Yeah.
Aparna, I think this we spoke about amazing highs till 2006, and then there was a phase of injuries, which led to you retiring and other things happen. How does an athlete cope up with these? Which is you don't want you never want it to happen, but you know it's going to be part and parcel of your active professional life. So, how did you cope up with that, and what is the message that you can give to the athlete who are actually facing this challenge?
So, with this question, first, let me say that luckily for me, touch wood, I wasn't injured for a lot part of my career. Like, I
Yes,
didn't have
correct.
many injuries. I
Yeah.
had a severe injury only in the fag end of my career, and because of which I actually,
Yeah.
retired. But um, I think when injuries happen, you just need to take it as a pause,
Mm.
because it is something that, I mean, it was inevitable,
Correct.
or maybe it wasn't. If it wasn't, then there's something that you could have done. So, if you've overtrained, or, technique is wrong, or, whatever, it was an accident or whatever it may be, um, ensure that it doesn't happen again. But
Right.
now that it has happened, um, I think the best way first is to respect your body, treat it well. If
Mm.
the physio or the doctor says that this is what you have to do, then just do it,
Mm.
and do it 100%. The commitment to your recovery should be 100%. And I think then your focus should shift to that, and not really shift, or stay on what you're missing,
Mm-hmm.
because that's something you can't control. you know
Correct.
you're missing your practice time, yeah, you are, but that's something you can't control. But what you can control is really the effort you put into your recovery, and
Mm.
which is physical as well as mental. I think there are a lot of sports psychologists now who can help you through this phase, even though you're not actually playing, but to actually stay through into the zone, or into your focus through meditation or through visualization or things
Right.
like that. And of course, sports science today gets you back into action much faster than it would when I was playing. So that is something that you can look at. And it's also, for me, I would look at it as a time to learn other things. If it means reading, if it means knowledge enhancement, if it means exploring, if it means whatever hobby you want to pursue,
Yeah.
pick up music, pick up art, just keep yourself and your mind engaged, and don't look at what's missed out, but rather look at what you can do. Um, so that's, I think, how I'd look at injuries, and an injury pause. It's a pause.
Yeah. It's
You
a
can
pause.
get back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not a full stop, it's a comma, or a
yeah,
semicolon that you have to you can get back from this, I think. And so now, with the exposure, we talk about the power of visualization, meditation, all. But while growing up at that particular age, were you really believer of that when it was happening? When you look back, yes, I think those things do help, and the new generation have access to that or exposure to that. But I don't know. I personally had no clue what visualization was or what meditation was when I was 18, 20, 24, 25. But did you have anything which really helped you as an athlete to come out of it, other than the hobbies? Hobbies, yes, I think we had hobbies during growing up, but
yeah.
that particular thing about calming yourself down.
So I would say that a lot of the my concentration came to me naturally, because
Hmm.
as a child
Yeah.
I was very, very focused, and it just happened. I don't think I did anything special. But when I was at the Prakash Padukone Academy, so they say me, I must have been about 16, 17 years old
Yeah.
then, when Mr. BP Bam had visited the academy
Hmm.
for a very short period of time, where he did speak about meditation and sports
Oh, okay.
psychology, but it was at a very nascent stage. So
Yeah.
in a way, he was experimenting on us, badminton wise. Of course, he had a lot of experience with other sports, but
Right.
I think this was his first foray into badminton.
Hmm.
So he did, yes, come and speak to us about visualization, and a bit of meditation and
Oh,
some
nice.
breathing techniques and stuff. But the real meditation that I saw was, when I was at the academy, when Prakash Padukone used to play, I used to
Hmm.
watch him like a hawk. For
Oh,
me, like, if I finished my practice session, I would stay back till he was feeding the seniors, because I was a junior then,
right.
and my eyes would just be glued on, how he's playing, what he's doing, how he's doing, like everything, you know.
Yeah.
And just as he used to receive the shuttle, like in doubles,
Hmm.
and you just see the way he's looking at the shuttle, for me, that's meditation.
Yeah.
For me,
Sure.
that focus is the focus that, a player needs to have. And we're talking of my era, right,
Yeah.
where sports psychology and meditation were just coming in.
Correct.
So that many years earlier, when he would have won the All England, it
Exactly.
it he would have done that.
Yeah.
And for me, if that can be achieved now, um, I think lot of things can be won. on that
Yeah.
count. And about calming yourself down, it's very individual.
Yeah.
I think each one needs to find their own way or own space of how to calm yourself down, because um, the heart's going to beat fast.
Yeah.
There's no question about it.
Yeah.
Whether it's your first year on circuit or your last year on circuit, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What level you're playing, it doesn't matter. Butterflies in the stomach are going to happen. So
Mm.
just experiment, find your own way, read up today, of course, a lot of access to different, things that you
Mm.
can find out or explore, but find your own way.
Nice. I think it's so nice, and I think perfect message for the youngsters and anybody who is wants to pursue. And it goes beyond sports. It goes to every individual, in even the professional life and the corporate life. Everywhere, this actually message is very important. Uh, so my coming to my last segment, just last two questions. I'll not take. I know I can go on and on when it comes to badminton, but you had a satisfying career, and it was a amazing career that you had, and now you are a pundit and a commentator, and a lot of things are happening. What is that one thing that you feel that could have happened differently to you and would have changed something for you? Is there anything that you have?
Yeah, a list of 100 things. No, no, I'm no, I'm just joking. I think if you try to fit today's scenario
Mhm.
into my scenario, yeah, there are a lot of things that could have been different, like tons of them.
Correct.
With back then, with what I had, I achieved a world high ranking of 16.
Yeah.
Could I have been in the top 10? Probably yes.
Mhm.
Okay. Um, but having said that, I feel, from what we had back then, I really did the best I could, and
Oh.
that's what makes me satisfied, and that's what makes me happy, and have a very positive sort of experience of my career and my
Mhm.
game. So no regrets in those terms. But
Yeah.
if there's, again, as I said, you want to be better.
Yeah.
If I go back in time, I just wish I had a little more self belief, and took a little more risk
Yes.
in my career, to say, like, I don't care a hang about what going on. I want to do this, and I'm going to go forth, and I'm going to do this, and I believe I can. I wish I
Mhm.
had a bit of that attitude,
Mhm.
a little more. But yeah, it's, again, as I said, it's still very much the same thing. You want to be better, but it's gone.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
I'm very happy with my career. Absolutely no regrets.
Yeah, so as they say, right? Every life has a story, and only few make it into a 70 movie. And you got to make it made it into a movie that is that itself is so satisfying. And looking back, I think it's phenomenal. So, Aparna, my last question to you: what's your message to the? Yeah, I don't want to separate the women and or girls and everything, but what's your message to the budding athletes who are who wants to be into sports, but they don't know probably what needs to be done and how do they get discipline to their own life and everything. So, what is your short and sweet message to all those budding athletes?
um I think, first of
And
all,
I just want to add one more
yeah,
thing, and the parents.
yeah. uh the parents just have to listen to the children, in terms of not listen to what they're saying, but listen to how they're feeling. I think if the child is happy, and loves the sport, just let the child play.
Yeah.
And for the children, I think, or for anyone who's playing, that you have to enjoy working hard. If you want to get better, you have to learn to put in that hard work, and hard work with a smile on your face,
Yes.
or at least be happy about it. It's not easy, but
Yeah.
but yeah, I enjoy your hard work, enjoy the sport, and yeah, just keep playing. And for parents, again, just please make sure the child is happy when they're playing the sport. That's what counts.
Wow. Excellent. And that is such a nice note to leave on. It's for the parents. Let the kids be kids. Let them enjoy and just support them as in the process. And for the kids, I think as you said earlier in the interview, like you, that's your choice, and just enjoy the choice that you have made. I think that is so true. So,
But
Aparna,
work
thank you.
hard. But work hard. Don't just be happy not working hard. Just
Yes,
ensure
yes,
that you work hard. Yeah,
and also focus on your education. Don't leave
for
don't
sure.
leave that thing aside.
For sure.
So yeah, excellent, Aparna. Wonderful talking to you, and thank you for being on the Sportsy, where we just talk about sports and go on and on talking about it with wonderful people like you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for liking, thank you for watching, and thank you for sharing. But please do subscribe on our channel Sportsy Says and help us spread the word. We go with the same handle Sportsy Says across all the social media platforms. Do subscribe on Sportsy Says.